Hello and welcome to Tech Meets Wisdom. Today's guest is Mamen Saura. She's a freelance photographer who's traveled the world and will bring us her incredible images from the world and also share stories about water shortages. Stay tuned for more. Welcome to the show, Mamen.
Thank you.
It's so lovely to have you here.
Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. So you've traveled the world and you've conquered so many things. But I think first of all, it's so wonderful. I can't believe that you're here on the show because we just met about not too long ago.
That's right.
Well, our daughters are friends,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how we met.
That's right.
And I just saw some of your images that you were showing me. I fell in love with them because the details of them and the stories that you had to tell, I had to bring you on the show
Thank you.
so you could share more. So please tell us, how did you even start doing this? Because it's so incredible what you do.
So I used to be a teacher first, a psychologist then, and then I became a marketing manager in a company. And then I had a son, and I had severe complications on the delivery. So after I have that experience, I woke up after a coma and said, I want to do something in my life that it's worth it.
Wow.
So I changed professions and I became a photographer. And at the beginning, I was just photographing, families, kids, events. And then by chance, I went to an event where an organization that was working with water was there, and they had fantastic message, but it didn't touch me at all. And so I talked to the founder and I say, well, you have a great message, but just didn't really ring a bell for me. And he said, well, we are going to Kenya next week. Will you join us and show me what you mean? And I said, yes. And that changed my life.
Well, until you went to Kenya.
I went to Kenya.
And you went to a village.
I went to several villages. I went to actually Kenya and Ethiopia on that first trip. You go to very, very remote areas. So I had been in remote areas because I'm a big hiker, but never to document these, people. So it was a great experience. I learned a lot on that first trip because you see a lot of National Geographic things, but a different thing is to be there and be with the people.
The experience. It's like seeing a mountain in a picture.
That's right.
To be on the mountain is a different experience.
It's the sounds. You go into their houses, how they receive you, how you connect with them, and I just love it so much. I just came back and I told my husband, that's it. That's what I'm doing the rest of my life, and that's what I'm doing.
Wow. And so there's one of the things that you told me about was the water problems that you saw.
So when you start traveling to remote areas, there are several problems that become very obvious. One, it's the water. I think one, and the first one, it's the water. So most of the remote villages around the world don't have access to clean water. And so no matter where you travel, it's all around the world. Even if you go to the San Joaquin Valley, there is no water there. So water stops you from doing almost everything else. So if you don't have water, people don't have education. Kids cannot go to school. It's like it's a compounding problem. So I decided that I wanted to focus on women and children, and water was the first thing that affects them. So that's why I decided to document that. And it's terrible to see what happens when kids don't have access to water. Yeah. They walk, 10 kilometers or what is it, miles? It's 8 miles.
When they should be in school or something.
They should be in a school.
They're walking to get water.
That's right. And it's mainly, unfortunately, mainly girls. So I have a daughter, and this became a personal thing for me. It's every girl should be in a school. Every mom should be able to send their kids to school, boys or girls, but it's send them. without water, they spend, all these women, all these children spend most of the day walking to collect water. And in many cases, they collect dirty water, which has the different implications. It's not only you spend, half of your day walking, but then you're drinking very polluted water. And that means you're going to get sick.
I think as you're telling the story, we have some images that we can bring up, and we can take a look at that as you're talking about. And this is a village, you took these images in a village called Samburu?
In the area of Kenya, it's about 5 hours from Nairobi going towards the north, and it's a very dry area. It's most of the year there is no water around. And most of the women spend
oh no, these images are from Mongolia.
Yeah, these are from Mongolia.
This is a different place. But yes, so you were talking about, we'll come back to this. There we go. We have the image now.
So most of the, I work for organizations that bring a well like the one that you see on the background. And those wells become a social network. It's like here we go and have a coffee with friends.
Yeah.
There all the women get together. They make the beads that you see on their necks. They make all these beads. It's almost the place where they can socialize, make new ideas for business and everything. So that's what the organizations do. They bring these wells. It's not that deep, but it just cleans the water. The water that they collect, it's clean. And they put it in locations that they still have to carry the water, but it's maybe 1 kilometer versus, it's probably like a 10-minute walk now versus 5 hours.
You know what's incredible? Look at these happy faces. And I love these images that you've captured.
The kids are happy and the women are happy. The thing in places like Kenya is when you don't have access to water and you're collecting water, you go to pretty dangerous places. So there is several cases where crocodiles will come out of the water and drag you. There are places where the water is, there are so many cows around that the water it's dirty. So the kids really know the difference, and they can really play a little bit with the water. They don't get to play much, and it's makes a huge difference. Once the water is there, then schools start happening, businesses start happening, gardening, the food improves because they start doing all these things. And that's the traditional Samburu clothes. It's very colorful. It's
beautiful.
It's just beautiful. All these kids, all these girls are really happy because they will be going to school because of the water.
Yes, of course.
And that happens in many places. This is a mom that I actually have seen her now. I have been working with this organization, the Samburu Project, for 10 years. So I have seen her pregnant with every kid, and I know her family pretty well. So I will be going there in June, and I will see her. And her life has changed. All the kids are in a school. They started a small business, like a small shop. So things are improving at the moment you bring the water. Yes. There's a lot of kids taking care of their brothers and sisters. Yes. So there is a much more quality time that you can spend with your kids when you can spend time with them. And we all know that. So,
yes, of course.
And this is actually how the kids are when there is no water. So the kids will dig a hole in the sand, and that hole keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper because every time someone comes, they have to dig a little bit more to get to water. It's dirty water, but that's the only source of water they have. And so those holes become a big problem by the end of the dry season. They might need steps to go down, and they can crumble down. So they become pretty...
just a hazard.
It's a very big hazard. And then that's the water that you will get in one of those wells, that hand dig well, versus the clean water that you can get on the other wells. Wow. And this happens everywhere. In India, in Bangladesh has a huge problem. Yes. It's all over the place. And there are many organizations doing work for water, but
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sort of speechless right now after seeing those images and the story that you're telling, because it's heartbreaking, you know, to
It
know
is.
that our world has this going on.
It's actually, if you think about it, it's about 800 million people lack access to clean water, um, and people don't understand. We take it so much for granted.
And look at our water bottles, like we buy all
But
kinds of
it's
water
not
bottles
just
to,
that. It's you know, you take a shower, you take it for granted. You
yes.
brush your teeth. It's all health thing related at the end. Um, some of these people, they go 5 kilometers to collect water. They come back, and they still have dirty water to cook for their kids. So it's pretty dramatic.
Wow. So coming back to you, you have such a passion for this, and that's an incredible story about, you know, your son, and you're giving birth and you're in a coma,
Yes,
and
I did.
and out of when you come out, we wake up, you're like, okay, my life needs to change, and I need to implement something a little bit more meaningful.
um,
And
Yeah, I think that I have a lot of meaningful relationships before that, but I think that that make me more determined to pursue something that will help someone else, not just, you know.
mhm.
And the more you travel to all these places, the more you become connect with them, and the more you want to show to other people what you know what you see, because I think there's a lot of misconception on all these places. The things we don't
Yes,
know, we think it's dangerous, or um, and these people are so friendly, so generous with everything they have. I wish I could take everyone with me
yeah.
and make them see it. I think we could have a much better world if we all connect that way.
I was noticing that in your pictures, like the pictures, the children look so happy,
That's an
and
interesting thing about being a photographer. Not all photographers are the same. I think that reflects a lot my relationship with the people around me.
yes.
And all my pictures are always happy because I'm having a blast with them
Yes,
and
you're
they're having a
pulling,
blast with me.
right, you're pulling something
So,
out of them. And
yeah.
that's where I think some of the emotional intelligence part we were talking
Correct.
about.
It's you don't have I don't have a common language in most of these places. So many times you have a translator that is explaining more or less what they're saying or what you are trying to tell them. But there's a lot of nonverbal communication, and I through the years I don't even know how I do it. I just talk to them and we connect.
Well, they say it's the language of the heart.
Yes, very much. And I
Yeah.
am really attached to all these
When
people.
you become human, and
You
there's
too.
only one religion, which is the religion of love, and you're
Yes,
human.
and people very much react to that immediately. So one of the things in photography is you have to become invisible. They have to trust you right away. And so I don't know how I do it, but I go there and within 5 minutes I'm playing with the kids and I'm singing and I'm dancing and I'm taking photographs.
Uh-huh.
And by the third day, they don't even think I'm a foreigner. I'm just part of their group. And that's what makes the difference in the photographs.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. That's incredible. So what else have you seen? The water is a problem. What else do you see that can maybe help girls, especially, or what do you think is something that people should be doing or can do that can help this kind of a situation in our world?
So,
There's twofold to my question. One is girls, and the other is water.
it's both connected to
Yes,
each
they're both
other. So they are
connected.
very connected to
Uh-huh.
each other. I, I, I think that it's such a big problem that I will say everyone should be somehow involved with that. There is not one single organization that you can say, oh, this is the right place to go. I like to work with smaller organizations because they do follow through with everything. So like like the one that I'm working right now, the Samburu project, it's they put the water, but they also make sure the girls go to school, and they also are putting water in the schools, and they are also building workshops for the women, so they send the kids to school. So I will say find your local organization that it's small, that you know what they are doing, and that promotes, you know, water first, like before anything else, and then education of the girls, business for the women, because it does change. Women, if you give a small amount of money to a woman, she'll make gold out of it in any of these places.
Of course, you hear all these women that take small loans, those Kiva loans and things like that, and they
it's absolutely.
they sell eggs or milk or whatever they sell, and they turn their whole family situation around.
But that's where we are so similar. Like I will do anything for my kids.
Of course.
It's anything. And these women are exactly the same. So if you're giving them an opportunity to say, okay, here's an opportunity for your kids, they're going to do anything to make it happen.
Yes.
So that will be my advice: is do get
in there.
Help 5 women, 10 women to get started on that, because it just changed a whole village.
Wow.
One woman can change a whole village.
Wow, that's incredible. So there were some other travels that you've had.
Oh, I travel a lot.
Yes, you have.
I love traveling.
And what other what stands out to your mind when you go to bed at night? You're like, if you had to think about going to another place, what stands out in your mind?
Like in a place to go?
Sure,
or
yeah.
I don't have any place to go specific. I'm very much I like traveling to places that are almost disappearing right now. So in the last 10 years, I think I have traveled to very remote areas of Myanmar or Mongolia, where there are tribes that are vanishing, and I like that. I like the vanishing tribes.
You like the vanishing tribes. So that's hard for me to comprehend, because it's it's like we're not related to that, like seeing the tribes. But is it the water that's making them disappear?
No, it's cultural things. It's like, I'll give you an example. There is women with tattoo faces in Burma. That's not allowed anymore. So most of those women are now 80 years old, 85, 90. One of my favorite women, it's an old nun that is 102 years old in a very, very remote village in Burma. And so once these women die, that's
it.
done. That's it. No one else is going to do it. The eagle hunters in Mongolia, there are maybe 300 of them left. Once they are gone, that's it.
Well,
no one will do it.
We have pictures of the Mongolia, since you said that. So let's bring up the pictures of Mongolia now and take a look at what's there.
So that's a girl, which is a new thing. Mongolian, they originally it was only men, and now it's changing. There was a very famous Disney movie that had a girl.
What is she doing?
She's actually calling her eagle. So they train eagles. They get eagles when they go to the nest and get the eagles, and they train them to hunt for rabbits and foxes, and they hunt with them for 10 years, and then they release them to the wild. So that's the commitment. They will work with their eagle, and for 10 years they do everything together.
Look at the next picture.
And then they release them.
Wow, look at this picture. What is this all about?
It's so the way they do it, it's they always have the eagle on top of a mountain, and someone else will hold it, and the owner of the eagle will go down and call the eagle to come, and on that process they might have the rabbits or whatever is they're hunting for. It's quite a relationship with their eagle.
Wow, the eagles are so comfortably sitting.
Yeah, they are used to it. It's amazing. So I spent a whole week living with them in one of their girls, and it's great because you can get a really good photograph if you're just going, and a lot of people think it's just you got there, snap a shot. You actually have to spend time with people. You have to become invisible. They have to trust you, and then it's when I think you get photographs that are meaningful. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And the love they have for these animals, it's incredible.
They also have competition.
They do have a competition. It's becoming a very popular thing to go to the eagle hunters competitions.
But none of the eagles ever get hurt in any of this.
I wish I could say yes. I mean, most of the time no, but you know, it's a dangerous sport. It's actually not a sport. It's how they survive with the eagle hunting. But they do care for the eagles more than anything else.
This picture is incredible.
Yeah, the eagles are
detail.
The span of those, you know, of the wings. It's just, and when they fly over your head, you just hear this zoom. It's incredible. Yeah. So I love going to places like this because you see those places in you know, whatever, National Geographic.
Exactly.
But one thing is to see it and read it, and another thing is to go there and talk to the people. And I think we have a tendency to idealize this because of National Geographic. The reality of life in many of these cases is they also need to go and cook food and go buy in food, or, you know, keep their houses.
Yeah, this picture probably depicts a little bit more of them riding together. And
that's when so when the festival starts, they all go around with all their eagles. It's, as you can see, it's starting to be dusty. It gets really dusty.
Oh yeah, need your goggles.
And then they have a whole competition, so they have to throw the eagles, you know, hunt, going from the mountain, call them, how fast they call them, how fast they turn around the horses. So they do all type of competition. It's pretty fascinating.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
Wow, and you were there during this festival?
Yes, I was there during the festival.
Did you plan it out and go during that time?
Yeah, I have been in Mongolia now 3 times, and I'm planning the 4th time. It takes a lot of planning because there's no roads in Mongolia. So well, the moment you leave the capital, you are in the middle of nowhere. So I normally, you know, it takes 2-3 years to plan some of these things. Yeah.
Yeah, these pictures are incredible. Like, this picture is just beautiful.
And the control of the horses, it's incredible. When we were there, I thought I'm going to ride a horse, but the terrain is so dangerous. It's so, you can't ride a horse unless you grow up like that. And they go everywhere riding like that.
Yeah, I guess you have to be really trained from
You do have to be trained,
in how to maneuver in that terrain and all of that. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
What other adventures have you had that you can say is one of your favorites?
So not an adventure. One of my favorite things, it's Haiti. Believe it or not, Haiti, it's a forgotten place right now, unfortunately. So I have been documenting what's happening in some of the hospitals, and it's kind of sad right now. It's the people are fantastic, but the help is drying out, and they don't have anything. So I love going there because it's very rewarding to be with them and working with them.
Since you've seen so much of this all over the place, all over the world, basically, what's a message that you personally would like to tell the world, or you want to share?
Oh, I think 2 things. One is water. Please, please, please look around, spend one day, get 40 gallons of water, and try to go through your day with that amount of water and see if you can. Most of us cannot. It's most of the 800 million don't have that water. And the other thing is, try to open your mind to the fact that we are all humans and we are all wanted the same thing. And sometimes you just need to, before you do a judgment, you need to learn more about that people, those people. Or I think we need to learn more about what's happening in the other parts of the world and understand that we are all connected, even if we don't think so.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's incredible when we start thinking about the world that humans are human beings.
Yeah.
And they're delightful. it's our circumstances, even the circumstances of such people like that we saw in Africa, it doesn't impact how they feel inside.
Yeah, no,
That they're
it's
so full of love, then we have to think about what's going on in America.
it's.
You know?
I think we need to learn how to understand each other.
Yeah, patience, tolerance.
Patient, listening. I every time I travel, I realize that what is white here, it's black there, or what is black there is white, in the another place. So if there's, it's amazing because you will think I know already that I don't have prejudice, and then I go to a new place and I realize I do still thought that something was one way or another. So the reason I think I keep traveling, it's because I learn every single time a new thing.
Yeah, and traveling changes your
It
mind.
changed your mind and it changed the way you understand people. So I love traveling, I love photographing, and I love listening. Listening is the thing that ultimately, it's what I attracts me. I go to all these places and I listen to this woman, and I think, oh my God, it's like she's talking about her day going by, like da 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 da, and it's exactly like my day.
Yeah.
And we are so connected. It's incredible. It's an incredible feeling to connect with
Yeah.
these people.
That's really what you said is very important, because you have to remove the circumstances, and when you come from heart to heart, you really do find that we are so similar
Yeah.
in so many ways. It's not the skin color or what you wear or how much you have to eat, but it's really about who you are truly inside, and it's powerful.
And I think that one thing I really like on these trips is everyone is so generous with their time. They share everything with you, and I love that.
Well, we have about a minute left, and this has been such an exciting and wonderful conversation with you.
Thank you.
That you've taken us around the world with you, and thank you for that. It's just such an honor to have you here with us, and to see what you have seen, and you've come back to share it with us. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, and with that, we'd stay tuned for more in Tech Meets Wisdom, and we'll be sharing more with you with more wonderful guests like Mamen Saura. You can see more of her stuff on, she has an Instagram following, and your handle is called Mamen_Saura. And we have the spelling on the screen somewhere. Please join us again next time, and take care of yourself.